Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Albuquerque Aliens Draft Gold franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, we had the first round of the playoffs, and it was a pretty good, successful first round of the playoffs against the Wild. As you can see, we managed to beat them in what only took 5 games. We did lose the first game, so at that point, I was not really too sure what our playoff run was going to be like. But then we responded with an overtime victory, so that was absolutely huge to get us back into the series. And then we went on a nice little run, as you can see, 4-3 win there, 3-1 there, and 4-1 to close them out. Now we have the most anticipated probably playoff matchup of this entire series in a way, because we are going to be taking on Boris Malkin and the St. Louis Blues in this second round. Now, Boris Malkin obviously was a good goaltender for us for a few years as the backup behind Gionta. Eventually, he was the starter last season for us, but then we decided to controversially let him go. He signed with St. Louis, and of course, that's going to be this second round matchup. So it will be interesting to see who ends up winning this. Obviously, during the regular season, both of us didn't necessarily light the world on fire in terms of our records, and both of us kind of like going into the playoffs didn't have the best last 10 games. As you can see, they were 5-2-3 going into the postseason. We were 3-4-3. So I feel like this is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, what kind of scares me a bit about the Blues, though, not just necessarily Malkin and how good of a goaltender he is you can see the comparison going into this round. They're basically scoring as much goals as they're allowing. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit of a recipe for disaster, because that means their offense could just all of a sudden click out of nowhere. Meanwhile, maybe they'd all of a sudden start giving up a lot of goals. I don't know if they will give up a lot of goals, but Malkin, like I said, has been an absolute beast for them so far. But then again, Gionta's also been a beast for us. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, because it's the former basically master, the goaltender master, versus the prodigy who came up behind him. And we decided to let go, obviously, of the prodigy instead, which honestly, it could have went the other way, but we decided to do that. And this is the team in front of him. And from an offensive standpoint, it's pretty solid. They don't have a super stud player, I would say, like Kincaid's an 86. You have Hennessy, who also used to actually play with us, as an 84. Brossoit is an 86. So they do have some pieces that could score some goals. Carter Hennessy, like I was mentioning, used to play with us back in the day. He hasn't played with us in now 5 seasons, but he's been a pretty consistent producer with the Blues, 50, 60 points. Would have been nice to have him still on our team, but at the same time, we had to let go of him due to cap constraint, and he was also demanding too much money, I believe. Yeah, he's getting paid almost $12 million as an 84, so I'm kind of glad we don't have that contract under our belt, because that would definitely hurt us in terms of our depth. And then from a defensive standpoint, they do still have that top 2 pairing that's been with them for a very long time in Lapalainen and DuPont. The rest of this defensive core, though, is quite weak, so that's where I'm a bit scared as well. They're a very good defensive team this postseason. It could be just because of the goaltender in Boris Malkin, but I'm not really too sure. But yeah, Boris Malkin, like I said, he played 3 years here in the NHL, 2 years as backup, 1 year as a starter, and he was a .913 save percentage last year, so it's not like he did bad, but we decided I wanted to keep Gionta instead, and then he went on to sign with St. Louis, where he posted a .924 save percentage, so definitely a really good season for him, and in the playoffs so far, he's rocking a .940 through 7 games, so it's going to be very tough to score on him. But I think, obviously, if any team's going to score on him, it should be us, because we know his weaknesses and all that. And it will be interesting to see who ends up winning the series. I could definitely see it going to 7 games just based on the goaltending alone. So we'll see if that stays true or not. But anyways, before we get into this second round matchup with the St. Louis Blues, let's get into your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into this matchup and see if we can keep that first round success in the second round. So the first and only comment is from Slick2431, who says, love the vids, keep them up. I watch all of them, and I appreciate that, man. I've been putting out videos now, I guess, daily pretty much, almost, except for on Sundays. Probably now for, like, how many years at this point? Like, it's actually kind of insane that I've been uploading that much videos, but I think we're getting close to uploading 2,000 videos lifetime on my channel, which is pretty insane as well. So maybe I'll do something crazy for that 2,000th video. I don't really know exactly. But with that said, I think we're ready to get into this round. I want to make sure that I have my lines set up the way I want to. So let's go ahead to edit lines and just make sure we have the lines set up the best way possible. Now, we did make some changes early into the last round where we had Cashman and Ristolainen change spots. We could always put it back, but for right now, I think I'm going to keep it like that. Aside from that, I don't really know if there's anything else I want to adjust. I don't think so. I think everything should be pretty fine because we won in 5 games, so we don't want to overthink it right now. The defensive core is pretty good for the most part, and plus minus. That second pair not as crazy, but that's all right. And then, like I said, Gianta's been really good so far up to this point, just in case you guys wanted to see his game-by-game stats. You could see in that round against the Wild, the first game he didn't play very good. Obviously, we lost that game, but then he responded with a 906 and 880, not the best, but the last 2 games, both a 971 and a 972. So he's been great the last 2 games. Hopefully he continues that momentum going forward into this round. Also, one thing just for fun that I want to take a look at is I want to go back to St. Louis's lines and go to Malkin, because what I want to take a look at is how did he do against us during the regular season, because it's kind of interesting since this is his first season as a Blue. What did he do to us? Because obviously he was really good this season, but was he good against his former team is the question. So if we go to split stats and we go down here against Albuquerque, how was he? Wait, are we all the way on the bottom of the list? Like, it's not alphabetical. Yeah, it isn't. Okay. So he was 1-1-1 against us this season, so it'll be interesting to see who ends up winning the series based on that. But he posted a 922 save percentage against us in a 2.86 goals against average. Only allowed 9 goals, and that's basically it. 1-1-1 against us. 922 is pretty damn good, but the best team that he was against during the regular season is... I can't sort this. I thought I could sort this part. Yes, I can't sort split stats. That kind of sucks. But if I go to game logs, his best save percentage in game this season, he had a lot of shutouts, obviously. But are we up there against him in any save percentage games? Oh, yeah, there's 2 of them right there. So he posted a 955 against us one game that went to overtime. He posted a 952 against us one game. And in the third game, which is probably the one we won, he posted, let's see. It's kind of fun looking at extra stats like this. Like, I should do this more often just to kind of add a little bit more story to their franchise episode. So the other meeting, which was his first game against us in game 11 of the season, he posted an 828. So basically, his first game, he was scared against us, played terribly. But then his last 2 games against us, he was very good. So he got a lot more confidence by that time. So I am scared for this matchup because obviously if we lose this round, people are going to be like, hey, maybe you should have kept Malkin instead of Gianta. But I think this is still going to be one of the most anticipated playoff rounds we've had in a while. So anyways, with that said, let's rip off the Band-Aid and get swept by Malkin. I'm joking. I don't want to get swept by him. But let's see if we could beat our former backup / starting goaltender. Did we make the right call? We'll see what happens game number 1. At least we have home ice advantage, so maybe he's going to get... I don't know if he's going to get booed because we got rid of him to free agency. He didn't request to be let go of. He wanted to come back. So the fans shouldn't boo him, but it's going to be interesting to see what he's doing on our old home ice. Like, maybe he's going to play terribly since we're on home ice. Anyways, first period, game number 1. Scoreless, and that popped up a lot faster than I thought it would, so that kind of scared me. I thought like all of a sudden it crashed or some shit. Anyways, shots are 13-10 in favor of us, no goals so far. Not bad. I do feel like this series could be a bit more of a goaltending based series. Now they don't have the strongest defensive core, but they do play a good defensive system, so we do need to find our offense in this series or else we're going to have a tough time. Obviously, if we have these like 2-1 games, it honestly could favor the St. Louis Blues a little bit more just because of Malkin's performance this postseason. So we got to find ways to score goals when we have the opportunity to. Can we find a way to get that lead in the second period? Second period? 2-0 us. Okay, we do score the first 2 goals of this round. Kolar's on the power play and Cashman scores a couple minutes later. We're up by a pair of goals going into the third despite being outshot 27-23. So right now, Gianta's playing better. But both goaltenders have been good, I'd say, up to this point in time. I wouldn't complain if I was the Blues with Malkin. So let's see what happens in this third period. See if we can lock this game down and take game number 1. Come on, boys. Penalty kill to start the third, and we killed it off. Nicely done. Penalty kill again. And we killed that one off too. Good stuff, penalty killers. Good stuff. Final 10 minutes of this third period. The Blues get on the board. It's Belchet's to make it a 2-1 game. Can we lock the rest of this game down is the question. The answer is yes, we can. And these are the type of games that I was expecting. 2-1 win over the Blues despite being outshot 42-33. So Gianta was a big success in that game. And Malkin played good. So I would have no complaints with that type of game, even if I was the St. Louis Blues losing to Albuquerque for that matter. So, not a lot of goal scoring, but maybe we should try and find ways to score more goals. I know it's going to be tough, but yeah, 2 goals in quick succession help us get that victory. So Kolarz from McLeod and Comrie, Cashman from Kolarz, and then they scored a goal from Belchets. But the thing that's kind of crazy is our penalty kill has been pretty damn good, it looks like, up to this point. Because I'm pretty sure it was like really good in the first round. So far in the second round, we killed off 3 penalties in that game. They also killed off 3 penalties, though. So we had power plays that we didn't convert on, but that's all okay, I guess. And there was a fight near the end of the game, I guess, or in that third period, Dunham versus Sherov. I should take a look at this penalty stuff more often, too, because it's kind of interesting when you see the fights and all that. 3 stars in that game. Gionta first star, Malkin second star, Kolarz the third star. I gotta just go like that just so I can maybe get a screenshot of that, just because it's kind of interesting just seeing the 2 of our goaltenders, at least 1 former goaltender, 1 current goaltender up there in the 3 stars. Like, I definitely expected to be kind of more of this type of thing going forward in the series, but good first game for us. Hopefully we keep that momentum going. We are on a nice little winning streak as of late, so I am a little bit scared about that, because when you have a winning streak this long in the playoffs, eventually it falls apart maybe. But we are currently on a 5-game winning streak. We have not lost since game 1 of that first round. Maybe the Blues are a little bit tired because they did go to Game 7 in that first round, so maybe that's what's contributing to their lack of offense so far, but not too sure. They did have a lot of chances, so they didn't. They could have probably scored more goals, but Gionta was just a brick. So let's get to game number 2. We're still on home ice. Can we take a 2-0 series lead headed to St. Louis? That'd be great if we could do that, and then hopefully we could find a way to win at least 1 game on the road. First period, game number 2. Let's just build off last game. Let's see what happens. Ooh, it's different than last game for sure. Lapalainen and Erzberg score for the Blues. They only have 9 shots, but they have scored 2 goals. So maybe Gionta's a little bit tired after last game's performance, but that's not a great first period. Like I said, eventually when you have a long winning streak like that, it's a little bit worrisome because then you feel like you go on a losing streak after a while. So I'm kind of scared about that. But our team could definitely still respond in the second period. We do have the offensive opportunities to do so. We've had 11 shots so far. Just got to find a way to at least get 1 goal, and then we could probably claw back into this in the third period. Obviously, it's going to be tough to score more than 2 goals against on Malkin, but if any team's going to do it, we could definitely do it. Can we find a way to get a goal at least in the second period and not allow them to score anymore? Second period, 3-0 Blues, oh boy. And of course, it's Hennessy scoring on the power play. We're still out shooting them, but Malkin has been a difference maker in this game. He was really good last game, gave the Blues the chance to win that game, but they didn't. So, not the strongest game from Gionta, but it is what it is. Like I said, I expect this series to be pretty close, down to the wire. It could go to Game 7. But, of course, Hennessy has to score against us on the power play. Let's see what happens in the third period. We're out shooting them, but we're down by 3 goals. Let's just maybe get some momentum or something to carry into the next games, because, like, obviously playing on the road next is going to be tough. Risto scores a shorthanded goal on Malkin. That's interesting. All right, gets us on the board with our first goal of this game 2, but that might be it. Yep, Natton makes it 4-1. That's tough. Malkin just was really, really good in that game, and that's the type of game that the St. Louis Blues are going to win. When Malkin's on his game and they're actually able to score some goals too, they're able to win those. So they do steal one of our home games, which is unfortunate despite us out shooting them, which means we are definitely going to be needing to win a game in St. Louis, or else it's going to be a really tough spot for us to be in. So our only goal is a short-handed goal, Ristolainen from Dunham and an Arena. We took a bit too many penalties, maybe? They had the first 3 penalties of the game, but then we took like 4 penalties halfway through the game. Delisle, Robertson, Carlotti actually was in a fight, so never mind, that's not a penalty, I guess. And then Kolarz had a slashing penalty. They had a lot of penalties in that game, though. Like, they had 2 late penalties. They had technically 5 minor penalties. Yeah, we did not score on any of our power play opportunities, so maybe that's an area we look to address, is our power play. And yeah, Malkin was a brick in that game for them. Yeah, let's address our power play maybe and see if we can get that power play simulating a little bit better, because the power play I think wasn't very good in the first round if I remember right. Maybe it was. I honestly can't remember if that was my Islanders episode or not, but let's go to edit lines and maybe make some adjustments here to try and get our offense to score more goals, because obviously it's going to be tough to score goals on a person like Malkin. So let's just flip this again, just because might as well for the chemistry. But we're also going to go to our power play here and see what we could do. Maybe we should get the Lyle onto the second unit. Yeah, let's get the Lyle onto the second unit. Let's get McLeod's not even on the first power play unit. Why is he not on the first power play? He should definitely be on that first power play. Wow, I don't know why that's the case. I didn't even realize that. I should have noticed that earlier. Let's also give Carlotti some power play time just for fun, just to change things up a little bit. And we'll take McLeod off this unit, and we'll give this one to Norena. But yeah, I didn't even realize that was the case. Damn. All right, and we want to get... who do I take off this unit? I guess it would have to be Kopitz. I mean, Kopitz has been good so far during his season, I think it was, but I do need to give Delisle more ice time, so we'll get Delisle onto this point as well on the second unit. Not the best chemistry on the power play, so I can see why maybe it's not performing, but it is what it is. Penalty kill's been good so far, so I'm not even going to look at it and address it. Gianta's rocking a 922. He's still been really good, but that last game obviously a little bit tough because he got outplayed by Malkin, but it is what it is. Hopefully we can find a way, like I said, to win at least one game in St. Louis, because like if we lose both, we're going to need to win 3 straight games, which we've done before, but at the same time, it's going to be a tougher time because St. Louis has that goaltending figured out like Minnesota didn't really. So can we respond with a win in St. Louis after that 4-1 loss? If we could win at least one of these games, I will be happy. So let's see what happens. Game number 3 in St. Louis. Let's get this win, boys, and let's find that offensive touch that we haven't scored so far in this round. First period. 2-1, that's okay. That's a good offensive start for us. We do give up a goal as well, but Hunwick scores. They get another power play goal from Hennessy, so our penalty kill has given up a couple power play goals recently, both to Hennessy, but that's okay. And then Reefer scores as well. Not too bad. We have 2 goals on 7 shots, so Malkin's not off to the greatest start in this game, just because Gianta wasn't great last game, it seems like. But pretty even first period for the most part. We're only up by a goal, so we got to be careful here in the second period. Do not allow them to claw back into this second period. Oh my goodness. And 2 more power play goals against. Well, maybe the penalty kill does need to be addressed. Hennessy's had 3 power play goals in the last 2 games against us. Brewer picks up 1 and Boursois scores as well. All 3 of those goals came in the last 5 minutes of that period. We had a 2-1 lead, guys, after the first, and we're going to have a bad second period like that. Now, we're still in this game. 2 goals is not insurmountable, but, man, that's a really rough period for our defensive core, for our penalty kill, and for our goaltending. So, can we have a good third period here, or are we going to lose this first game in St. Louis? Let's see if we could build on a good first period at least, and Lapalainen makes it 5-2. That's 4 quick goals for the Blues, basically. And Hunwick gets us back on the board to make it 5-3, all right? Do you have any more goals in us? Penalty kill. We got to kill this off, boys. And they get another power play goal. Landon Dupont. All of a sudden, our penalty kill's falling apart, which has me on edge a little bit. I'm not putting this on the goaltending in this one. Lack of discipline and, yeah, just not scoring enough goals as well is probably a big issue. But 6 goals against. A lot of that happened late in that second period, but it's also a lot of power play goals against. We gave up 4 power play goals in that game. That's absolutely unheard of, really, so that's a really bad game for our team. Really bad game. But our goals, anyways, were Hunwick from McLeod and Robertson, Reefers from Hunwick and Norena. Looked like we had a good game started when we had that good first period, but that second period we fell apart. Hunwick scored another goal from Norena and Comrie. So Hunwick had 2 of our goals in that game as well. So when a defenseman's scoring most of your goals, that's not a great sign. But yeah, we took way too many penalties in that game because we took a total of... Wow, wait a sec. We only took 5 penalties and they scored 4 power play goals. So they are 4 for 5 on the power play. Absolutely atrocious penalty kill in that game from our team. And that's why the plus-minus doesn't look that bad, because all those goals pretty much were on the power play. And Gianna had an 8-13. Goddamn. Jeez. Hunwick got second start of the game in that loss. Kind of surprised, but... Yeah, we're going to need to make some adjustments to that penalty kill. There's no question about it. That was a very rough effort from the penalty kill. Of course, after I said that our penalty kill doesn't even need to be addressed, last game we allowed a power play goal, in this game we just allowed a shit ton. So let's go to the lines and make some more adjustments to the special teams. I knew that this coach was weaker on special teams, so maybe I should have went with the other coach. I'm not too sure, but I'm trying to think of who I want to move on this unit. Let's move Dunham to the first unit. Robertson's gonna get sheltered a little bit onto that second unit. Just try some random things a little bit here to try and improve it. Yeah, we'll go with Robertson. Because Robertson's a grinder. He is gonna take more penalties than anything, but he's also good defensively. Hansen is okay to stay in that spot. Risto on this unit, actually. I don't know why Risto's not on the top unit. I'm gonna go Risto on the top unit. And then we're going to move Cashman to the second unit, Hansen to the third. Just because Hansen maybe needs to be sheltered a little bit more too, since he's a younger option. So yeah, we'll go with Hansen. Kolarz is on that unit, which is kind of interesting because I wouldn't have necessarily put Kolarz on a penalty kill, but I might be okay with it. And then from a defensive standpoint, maybe I'll move Carlotti off this unit. And we will go instead with... Wait, who's not on this unit? It should be. Yeah, we'll go with probably Hunwick on this unit. So we'll move Petterman over to the right side. Hunwick will play on this one. That way we have lefties and righties on all of them. Like, if there's two righties or two lefties on the same unit, not necessarily ideal for a penalty kill. Maybe okay for a power play. But, yeah, we need to make sure this is addressed a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that helps things a bit. I'm not too sure if it will, but hopefully our penalty kill could start playing a little bit better here. Because obviously if we lose this next game, it's going to be really tough. If we win this game, it's still a best of 3. So don't want to look too far ahead. Don't want to look too far back. But let's see if we can find a way to tie the series up. We definitely need to find a way to score more goals too. Because so far we've only had like 6 goals in 3 games. So far Gianta's not getting... as good of goaltending or defensive play in front of him. And he's also not playing that very good too. So let's see what happens. Game number 4. This is a pretty crucial game for us. Obviously, like I said, if we lose this, we need to win 3 straight games. So definitely to play better than the last 2 games. Got to be more disciplined. If we don't play more disciplined, I might have to start taking guys out of the lineup that take a lot of penalties and stuff like that to try and help us stay out of the box a bit more. But let's see what happens, see if we could respond here and find a way, because obviously these games could end up being Ristolainen's end of his career too, which is kind of scary. So, first period, game 4. Come on, boys. Come on. There we go. That's a good first period. Hunwick and McLeod. Let's go. Last game, we had scored 2 goals in the first period as well, and then we had a bad second period. So, we got to be careful here. We're in familiar territory, but we do not want to have a bad second period like last game. We just don't. So good goals from defenders, even though McLeod's technically playing forward. Shots are 13-8 in favor of us. So far, so good. Let's see if we could keep this lead intact in the second period this time. Second period? Oh my goodness, they got back into this game. That's not good. They scored to make it 2-1. Brossois very early in, and then Robertson scores a power play goal for us. So good to see our power play on the board rather than theirs. Ozens pulls them within 1 again. I don't like that they're hanging around a bit in this game. Shots are 27-20 in favor of us as well. So we're outplaying them, but we're only up by a goal. So far, we haven't been able to score more than 3 goals, I think it was, against Malkin. So we need to be careful. We need to play good defensively. We need to be disciplined in this third. Do not give them opportunities to get back into this game, boys. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, guys. Power play for us. We do not score on it, but it did take some time off the clock, which is always a good thing. Penalty kill. Got to kill off this penalty, please, boys. Thank you. That's a good penalty kill. Power play for us again. We do not score on it. Final few minutes. Oh, my goodness. And Lapalainen ties the game up. Yeah, I feel like we're going to get cheese now. This St. Louis Blues defensive core simulates so good, but they're not that good. We might honestly jump into this, even though this isn't an elimination game. Should we do it? Let me think. What time are we into this episode? 25 minutes. Maybe I shouldn't. You know what? I think I'm going to jump in. I think I'm going to jump in. Just because we might as well jump in these scenarios. Shots are 39-31 in favor of us. Yeah, let's just jump in. We might as well. This is an elimination game. Usually it's elimination games I jump in on. but we might as well jump in and see our former goalie face off against our current one. So we're going to make sure I turn off the music because I have watched some AI gameplay with my 2010 build recently, so I just don't want to get DMCA'd because of sandstorm or tsunami. So alright, let's see if we could find a way to win this game in overtime on the road to tie the series up. And if so, who wants to be the hero to score on our former goaltender Malkin and send the series back to our home ice even? Because that would be huge. That would be huge. Risto versus Sherov on the draw. And Risto wins it. Hutton finds Kolars. Kolars gets hit. That was an interesting reverse hit. Landon DuPont with it for the Blues. Nice poke check by Bell. Ristolainen. It kind of sucks that we're in this spot. No, Brossoit alone on Gionta, and he scores. What the hell, man? That didn't even look like it went in. But I was going to say, anyways, before the Blues decided to rudely interrupt me, it sucks that we were in that situation because we had a 2-0 lead after the first period, but we just blew it. And we lose, and now we have to win 3 straight games. Did that even go in? That didn't even look like it went in, and it's just a bad miscue by our team here because Ristolainen carries it up. He gets, like, stood up by Brossoit. But Kolars is skating like this. Where's the defenseman? Who is the defenseman up here? Dunham's over there. Where's the other defender? Oh, he's over here. This other defenseman's kind of cut. It's Hutton. He's kind of way over here. And what the hell is Bell doing? Like, why does he go over there and doesn't even get to that puck? And then he lets a breakaway happen to Brossoit. Brossoit just breaks in. Does this even go in? Because it didn't even look like it was in. Oh, what the hell? Yo, these goals in OT, I swear to God. These are just weird as shit. But look at this again. So this backhand goes towards the net. It does cross the goal line right there, unfortunately. In the glove, though. And then it comes back out, pops it around, and just some weird-ass glitch stuff happened. But that was so close to being one of the biggest saves ever, but Gionta had his glove inside the net, and Brossoit scores the winner. That is tough, man. That is tough. Maybe we should not have jumped in, because maybe that ruined things, but actually, let's go to the box score and stuff from that game, just in case you guys wanted to see that. But yeah, Cashman had a good game, 3 assists in that game, but we had no other secondary assists in that game, and we blew a 3-1 lead as well. So we've blown multiple leads in the series, and I don't think I'm going to blame Gionta on that. I think it's more on our defensive play that's falling apart, and our penalty kill too. And 875 from Gionta is not good, but our offense also has not done enough. They've gotten a lot of chances, but Malkin's answered the bell for them. And I know there's people already probably saying, say you should have kept Malkin. Well, I don't know if Malkin would have done any better in this situation, to be honest. I honestly don't. We will never know, I guess. But let's make some adjustments. We honestly might go best lines at this point because we have nothing to lose. We have nothing to lose. This might be one of our last playoff runs potentially too. So let's go best lines and see what it looks like potentially. Who gets scratched? Narena gets scratched. I don't want Narena being scratched, considering this could be his last NHL game. But they put McLeod back on defense, which is interesting because that could be something we lean towards doing. Should I be scratching Narena? How has he played this postseason? 3 assists plus 1. He hasn't been a negative player by any stretch. Maybe I try Narena as a forward again. You know what? I think that's what I'm... maybe that's a bad idea. You know what? I think we're going to go with this instead. Yeah. Maybe Narena should be scratched for this last game. I'd feel bad if he ends up retiring, though, is the only thing. You know what? I'm going to leave Narena scratched for this one game. He might come back into the lineup next game, but we are going to have McLeod playing defense, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, he's an offensive defenseman, so he could literally bring up offense from anywhere. But maybe that's something we need, is to change that complexion a little bit for this next game. And Gionta's dropped down to a 905, so he's had a tough round. I'm probably going to keep him in net, but we could go to Mathers. But in elimination kind of games, it's like we probably should just have the best overall goaltender in. So we're going to run with this as our lineup. and see if we could survive. Obviously, this could be the last NHL game for Ristolainen, which is kind of scary. We're on home ice for it too, so I could have Norena in and playing in front of the home fans, but at the same time, if Best Lines helps us get back into this playoff run, that would be huge. So really, really rough. This is kind of exactly what I expected, though. Because usually after you beat a team in 5 games in the first round, you go up against a team that won in 7 games. All of a sudden, you start off the next round pretty good, but then you usually go on a losing streak, and that's so far the case here. So I think I've seen the same result before, and it's going to be really tough for us to come back in this. But anyways, we're back on home ice, looking to survive at least one more day. Let's see what happens. We'll probably jump in regardless, just so we could see Ristolainen out there for potentially his last shift or something like that. But let's see if we could have a response after last game, because last game we had the lead again, but we blew it. So if we get the lead this time, let's actually play good defensively with that lead and not let them get back into it. Dunham scores to open the scoring for us. Delisle makes it 2-0. I do not feel safe yet because of the last few games, though. I just don't feel safe. We're out shooting them badly in this one too, but we're only going to be up by 2 goals going into the second period. Shots are 16-8, so good first period, but do we feel safe? Obviously not. Let's just get more insurance, make it a blowout game, and hopefully we can find a way to win in St. Louis next game if that's the case. Let's see what happens in the second period. Come on, boys. Let's get that third goal and fourth goal if possible too, because I don't feel safe even with 3 goals, I don't think. Power play there, we do not score. Power play again for us, and we do get a power play goal from Comrie. Nice, all right. 3-0 game. So far, so good on the defensive side of things and offensive side of things. Shots are 28-22 in favor of us. We're up by 3 goals going into the third. Maybe I feel a little bit safer now that we have a 3-0 lead, but I still am a little bit weary because of these last few games. Let's show that we could hold on to leads potentially. Let's see what happens. Third period. Come on, boys. Power play for us. We do not score on that one, but it does take time off the clock again. Can we get any more insurance? Final few minutes here of this third period. Looking to get it to a Game 6. And it looks like Game 6 is on the horizon. Your Albuquerque Aliens will survive at least one more day. Outshooting the Blues 44-26, only winning 3-0. But a good, nice shutout for Gionta. So that's why you don't take goalies out too early in the playoffs. So best lines worked really well in that game. And that's nice to see. So Dunham from McLeod, Delisle from Cashman, and Robertson and Comrie from Kohlers and Dunham. So McLeod picked up an assist as a defenseman. Maybe it's good to have him back on defense for a little bit. I don't mind that. And then, the goaltending, 26 saves from Gionta. Nice. 3 stars of the game, Gionta, Dunham, and Comrie. I'm kind of surprised they didn't give Malkin a start, because Malkin was good for the Blues in that one too, but didn't get the offensive support. Like a .932 save percentage. I'm kind of shocked on that, but yeah, Malkin's been pretty good for most of these games here against us, but it is to be expected. It is to be expected. All right, so we do survive another day. We are going to be going to a Game 6 in St. Louis. So far, we have not won a game in St. Louis so far in this playoffs, and that's not great. We've been outscored 10-6 in those 2 games. One of them we got to overtime, but that was the one we literally just jumped into recently. So I guess we'll keep the team the exact same again for this game. Yeah, probably keeping the rain out of the lineup is good, I guess, for these last 2 games of this round. We'll maybe put them back in for next round, get our lines set back up the way they were before, but can we find a way to force a Game 7 after being down 3-1? If we come back from a 3-1 deficit, that'd be absolutely huge. So I really hope that that is the case. So let's keep the team the same. Best line seemed to work well last game. Let's hope that we can find a way to win in St. Louis. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But if we win this game, we have the home ice advantage for Game 7, and that'd be absolutely huge for our confidence. So let's see what happens here. Can we tie the series up at 3? Let's get off to a good start again like last game. And let's make sure that we could not allow them to get back into games if we do get that lead first. We do score first. Kohlers, a couple minutes in. Nice to see that again. All right. Seems like we always have the lead in the first period at some points, which is interesting. We are out shooting them quite badly so far, but we're still only up by a goal, which is kind of scary. Penalty kill. Kill it off, boys. You got this. Nicely done. So they got a lot of shots on that power play, but we outshot them 18-10 in the first period. That might be the most shots I've seen in one period from a team in this game, but good first period in terms of generating chances and scoring a goal, but I feel like we should probably have more than one goal so far. So I am scared that they're still in this game. We definitely need at least 2 to 3 more to make me feel a bit more safe. So let's see if we could have a good second period here and learn from our mistakes from earlier in this round. They tied it up. Landon Dupont. Not good, but we do get the lead back. DeAndre Hunwick makes it a 2-1 game. All right. Good job, Hunwick. He's actually been pretty good in this round because he's had a 2-goal game as well in the series, and Belchets makes it 2-2. This is not a good game defensively so far and goaltending-wise. We do get the lead back for the third time tonight. Cashman restores that lead. Big goal from that, and we're going to be going into the third period up by a goal. Outshooting him 29-16, but we're only up by that one goal. So this is one of those games that we need to rely on our offense. If we get score more goals here in this third period, we'll be in a good spot. But if we just don't score goals, Malkin keeps his team in it, the Blues could find a way to win this, and that's kind of scary. So let's have a good third period here, win this period, win this game, and then next game, anything could happen. Let's see what happens. Third period. Come on, guys. You got this. You got this. Yay. Robertson makes it 4-2. That's a big goal at this point in the game. Can we hold them off the rest of the way now? That's a huge, huge goal for our confidence. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. The penalty kill's been doing a little bit better since we made those adjustments too. And since we went best lines. And we are going to be forcing a game 7. We were down 3-1, but we've responded with 2 straight wins. So very good with the best lines, it seems like. Outshooting him 39-25. So another solid game from Gionta. In game 7, I honestly don't know what to expect. I do not know what to expect. So that's a great response. But Kolar's from Ristolainen and Bell. Hunwick from Delisle and Cashman. Cashman from Robertson and McLeod. And Robertson from Delisle and McLeod. So yeah, McLeod as a defenseman still works just as good as he was as a forward right now, which is nice to see. And yeah, 2 assists and a +3. Maybe that's what we needed, is just a really good top 2 pairing. As him and Bell seem to work really well together as well. And a .920 save percentage from Gionta. Nicely done. 3 stars of that game, Cashman, Robertson, and McLeod. So yeah, that's very, very big, that win. Because winning on the road in Game 6 is going to be always the toughest game. Now you're back in front of your home fans looking to close out a series potentially. So are we going to be able to rally back from 3-1? The Blues have played a lot of games. This is their second Game 7 of this playoff run. Obviously, we had a little bit of a shorter first round, so maybe we'll have a little bit more energy in the tank for this game than they will. Maybe they're just tired because they've played so much games of recently. This would be absolutely huge if we find a way to win here. And if we find a way to win here, we'd be facing off against the Sharks in the conference finals. And we thought the Sharks, who won the President's Trophy, were going to get cheesed in the first round. Well, somehow they found themselves to a conference finals, so that's kind of scary. So next round would be a tough round if we do get there. And then it's Carolina, and it's either Toronto or Buffalo as they go both to Game 7 as well. Do we need to make any other adjustments? I don't think so. Best lines have been working good so far. Gionta's picked up his play the last 2 games. Yeah, I think we're going to just keep the team the exact same. It's do or die. We win this, we go to the next round. We lose this, we end up packing our bags and potentially seeing some retirements. So let's see what happens here. Real-time simulation again. Just have a good start to the game again, guys. We've had some good starts so far these last 2 games, scoring the first goal of the game. It's important. Let's get it done, and let's get some good goaltending results from Gionta. Come on, guys. Let's do this. Let's do this for our fans. Penalty kill to start off the game, and we killed them off. Nicely done. Power play for us. We do not score. So the whistles are out early on in this game, apparently. Okay. So far, quiet on the offensive side of things. We do open the scoring for the 3rd straight game. It's Hunwick again. Hunwick has been so good. He scores again on the power play. What is with Hunwick right now? He is a man possessed. And I forgot to move my face down. Sorry about that. But Hunwick is a man possessed so far at this point. God damn. I swear he's got like 5 goals as a defenseman in this round, which is kind of unheard of. He's a 2-way defender too. So far Hunwick seems to be thriving. in this game quite a bit here. That's a really good start again. But like I said, again, I do not feel safe with the 2-0 lead. Let's learn from those mistakes we had early in this round, which we've had done that the last 2 games. So as long as we keep that rolling, we're in a good spot. But let's try and find a way to get a third and a fourth goal and not allow them to get anything. Second period underway. Power play for us again. And it's a long one to take time off the clock. It's literally taken half the period. We did not score on it, though. Penalty kill, nicely done. Wow, that was a long-ass power play. Must have been like a major penalty or something like that. But power play again for us. We do not score on that one. And we're still going to have a 2-0 lead going into the third. I'm okay with that. I mean, obviously, we should have scored on those power play opportunities. So that's a little bit of a wasted opportunity chances and stuff like that. But it did take a lot of time off the clock, which made us have a good defensive second period. So we head to the third, up by a pair of goals. Can we lock this one down and go to the next round? Also, I said at the beginning of this series, I said that it could go to 7 games, and even though we're down 3-1, we found it to a game 7, and now we're 20 minutes away. We just got to be careful here. We got to be careful. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Let's get that next one. Let's get that next one. Power play for us again. The refs are helping us out, but we do not score again. We're into the final 10 minutes. Power play again for us. We do not score on it, but it does take more time off the clock. I'm going to jump in here shortly. I'm going to jump in here and watch us potentially eliminate the Blues. We just got to see Malkin and stuff like that out there. I feel like it's kind of a fun thing to do. Also because this is a nice home game. But, man, we are literally this close. We could taste the third round, and we'd be going up against the President's Trophy winners. So it's going to be really tough if we do get to next round, but maybe the cheese is on our side. Maybe it's on our side. Wow. I didn't expect us to come back from 3-1, to be honest. I just didn't. We were not having anything going for us, and then we found our goaltending again in these last few games. We've been finding that first goal of the game as well, which has been very important, so it's looking good. McLeod also on defense seems to be working nicely. Here he is, speaking of which, tries to get in, can't. Brossoit throws it up. Here is Belchets. Belchets walks in for the Blues. A backhander doesn't get through. Risto throws it up to Dunham. Dunham to McLeod. McLeod's still jumping in as a forward almost, even though he's a defenseman now. It's kind of funny. He literally looks like a forward still out there. Hopefully he can play good defensively too. Here is Sherov for the Blues. Throws it back to the point. Nice cut off by Dunham. Eugene Dunham's got a breakaway. Eugene in with the puck, and he's turned away, but it does take more time off the clock, which is huge. Nice pick off there, and he throws a big hit, and now Cashman throwing a big hit too. Cashman bombs it, blocked by their captain. I think that's Landon DuPont. And we're into the last minute. We had full pressure for a little bit because of those hits. They are going to pull their goaltender. Landon DuPont carries in. Nice pick off by Delisle. He throws it up to Robertson. Robertson shoots for the empty net. He misses, but that's still going to take time off the clock again. Landon DuPont is gassed, but he has to be out there for his last minute. They turn it over. A hit there. Hennessy with the puck. Dumps it. McLeod will take it. Throw it to Cashman. Cashman will take it around back. Waste more time off the clock. Finds it up to Bell. Drew Bell to DFD. Can't get by. A big hit there. Or who is that? Ballingford? I don't even honestly know. Kincaid carries it in. Kincaid throws it back to the middle. Ozzen's a chance, and Giunta sees that and makes his 22nd save of the game with 10.7 seconds left. It looks all like we are going to be potentially going to the conference finals against the Sharks. Man, the Sharks are going to be a really tough one, though. I honestly don't know if we have a chance against that team, but who knows. Risto at the draw against Sherov. He will tie up. We do turn over the puck in front, but Risto plays some good defensive play. Brossoit chance turned away. Big saves by Giunta. It scoots out. Kolars will run up, and that's it. The Albuquerque Aliens, despite being down 3-1 in the series, have found a way to get back and win in Game 7, and we are going to the conference finals. As Giunta gets the best of Malkin, even though Malkin was really good in a lot of those games. Giunta ended up playing really good these last 3 games, and that was absolutely huge. They could not close it out. Huge performance. And there is the handshake line. I wonder if we'll see the 2 goalies again on there. Yep, there it is. Malkin and Giunta. That's an iconic photo right there. That's awesome to see. But what a win. What a win. Let's friggin' go. Was not expecting, like I said, us to come back in that series, to be honest. But we find a way. So third star of the game, Malkin gets third star. Of course he does. Gionta's probably going to get 1 stars too since he got the shutout. So just a perfect way to end off a round going to Game 7 against former goalie. Hunwick had 2 goals in this game. Both goals, actually, for that matter. And Gionta, the first star, with 24 saves. Let's go. Let's friggin' go, man. Absolutely huge. And yeah, Hunwick's up to 6 goals in his playoffs as a defenseman. His first one was from Delisle and Petterman, second from Cashman and Risto. But Hunwick's been doing a lot of good work for us as a defenseman. Absolutely huge. So, looking good. Looking good. All right. So, we are going to be going to the conference finals. We already know it's going to be up against the Sharks, so I'll probably just advance to that so we could get primed up for next round. But we are going to take a look at some player stats as well here in a second. So, yep, there it is. San Jose, they have home ice advantage, of course, because they were freaking crazy this season. And they still are. They're 8-3 this playoff run. We are 8-4. It's Carolina and Buffalo in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right. Well, let's take a look at some player stats from the first 2 rounds for our team. And we'll see what these Sharks look like, because we know that they're a very good team. I think 3 of their point getters were up there in points during the season. So, going to be interesting to see who ends up winning. But let's take a look at our stats here. We might honestly keep the exact same lines as the last few games because everything's worked well. Cashman's over point per game. Dunham at 9 points. So we don't really have too much guys that are point per game on this team. But we do have good depth scoring, good plus minuses. So maybe we have the upper hand. So far, Hansen hasn't picked up a single point. And since Enroth has been put back into the lineup, he's been very good defensively. Not bad. From a defensive standpoint, McLeod on 12 points in 12 games. Obviously, he's played defense and offense. Hunwick's been a man possessed. 8 points is good. 6 goals, though. Was not expecting that. He is really nice. He's a really good defender. Like last year, he only had 1 goal in the playoff run. Year we went, I guess, to the Cup Finals, he had 4 goals. Huh. Yeah, he's not, like, he is a goal-scoring defenseman a bit, but 6 goals ties how much he had during the season. And he has that in the playoffs right now. So, Hunwick is helping out a lot. He's shooting 22.2% as a defender. That's crazy. Bell on 4 points and Rain on 3 points in 9 games. Carlotti, Petterman, that type of thing. Hutton has no points in his -4 so far. Hutton's been a little bit rough. But maybe Norena gets back into the lineup at some point. I'm not too sure. I want to get him back in because he deserves another chance to be in the lineup. But right now the team's simulating good this way, so we probably should keep it like that. And Gionta's got a 919. He's been quite inconsistent, but at the same time he's been consistent enough. Because, yeah, that round against the Blues, he had a 976 in Game 1. Game 2 had an 852, an 813, and an 875. So at that point it's like, not the best stats. But then he picks up 2 shutouts in the last 3 games of that round. So, absolutely good stuff from him the last 3 games going into this conference finals. But are the Sharks going to be a completely different animal? They probably are. Like I said, nobody's like completely lighting this team on fire in terms of points. But we've been good enough defensively that we don't need to worry too much. Yeah. Huh. All right. The question is, let's take a look actually at team stats still from the... Let's take a look at team stats from the playoffs. I don't care about regular season because I know the Sharks were really good and everything. But if we go Western Conference here, let's do a comparison before we look at their rosters. So we're scoring right around the same amount of goals as the Sharks in this postseason, which is kind of surprising. They're scoring 3.45. We're scoring 3 goals. They're only allowing 1.45 goals against per game. God damn, that's insane. And we're allowing 2.5. So despite us having some strong goaltending, they are playing crazy good defensively right now. Their power play has also been clicking at 24%. And their penalty kill is 91.7. So the Sharks are still having that success that they had during the regular season where they're good offensively, defensively, power play, penalty kill percentage. They are very good on the road. They've not lost a road game so far. Not so good on home ice, which is kind of surprising. All right. Well, what do these Sharks look like? They went 63-13-6 during the regular season. We know that they were great. They won the President's Trophy. What does this lineup look like? And we'll take a look at their player stats from the season because obviously they are a stacked team, I think. I would assume. I know that they have a really good top line at least, but I'm not too sure on their depth. Here is the 63-win Sharks. First line, Gene Bochenski, Nicholas Rodin, I think it was. Yeah, Nicholas Rodin, and what is Keeler's first name? Blake Keeler. Absolutely great first line. Second line has Emil Burkov. What's your name? Dorian Wang. And a 90 overall Junior Morrison, who's 21 years old, was drafted second overall 4 years ago. Wow. That top six is really, really good. Obviously, you could say the 85 and 84 may be a bit low for a top six role, but they have 3 90-plus players in that top six. Oh, my goodness. And as expected, because of that, their depth isn't as good. They have Moises Tham. They also have Corey Rudder. And what's your name? Maurice Bergeron. Fourth line has Par Landeskog. What's your name? Corey Torres. And Sergei Korolev. So, yeah, that offensive core, very good and top six heavy. We need to definitely contain that top six for sure, if we can. I don't know who's the bigger threat, Bochenski or Keeler. Or Morrison, for that matter. Even maybe Rodin. Damn. Defensively. Okay, I was not expecting this from their defensive core, considering they had such a good season and they're a good defensive team, especially this postseason. I was not expecting this defensive core to be this low. Maxime Goulet and Russell Eakin. Second pairing has Brian Messias. I was almost said Macias. Gord Foote. All right. And a top six pairing of Mohammed Swanson. Neil McNeil is playing defense. The revenge tour of Neil McNeil. I almost forgot about him. I thought that was maybe going to be him, but I didn't expect him to be playing defense. He probably is in for an injury, so there must be an injury on their defensive core. But Neil McNeil found his way in San Jose. He was in LA for a long time. We'll definitely look at some stats with him in a little bit, but that's interesting. And then their goaltender. They must have a good goaltender if they have good defensive stats, right? They do. Okay, yeah. Dorian Sawchuk is the man. And they do have a really good backup, too, in Jason Barker. Scratch, they do have an injury to one defender, and it's not even a good defender, too. It's Lane Pominville, who's a 78. They also do have Nico Tuominen. And what's your name? Caleb Vizentine. So, Pominville is normally their defender. That's interesting. So, their defensive core is really not that strong, but it simulates really good. So, the goaltending has been probably the number one thing on this team. And then the offense from this top six has probably been really good. And that's probably what the main reason they've been doing so well during the season and in the playoffs. Let's take a look at some stats. See who's been doing what for them. Because I honestly don't know who's been doing what for them. Maybe we'll have some surprises, some low overalls doing some good stuff for the Sharks. But let's take a look at their stats here as well. Prime up this matchup a little bit more. So, in terms of their forwards, Bochenski's got 17 points in 11 games. Well, that answers who's more of the threat. Keeler has no goals in the playoffs, though, which is kind of surprising, being a two-way forward and having good shooting categories. 5-star shooting, but no goals. Weird. Rodin has got 11 points. So, yeah, that top line is their best line, Bochenski especially, so we got to contain him. When was he drafted? First overall. He is a high franchise now. God damn. It's crazy. And then Morrison, who's that 90 overall in that second line, has 7 points. Wang has 7 points. Neil McNeil has actually maybe played defense full-time, or maybe he's usually a forward, but he got demoted to defense because of that injury. Because 6 points in 11 games for Neil McNeil. Like I said, former LA King. We've played him in the playoffs before when he was with the Kings. But, yeah, now that he's in San Jose, he's a 40-point guy. He's not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all. But, of course, it's the meme name and Neil McNeil. 3.4 million. Not bad. So, yeah, they don't really have the craziest depth scoring either, just like us. Like, there's a lot of guys that have not scored a lot of goals on that team. Like, Bochenski's got 12 goals in 11 games, but afterwards it drops off in half to Morrison with 5, Neil McNeil with 4, Rodin with 3, Wang and Tham only have 2, and then all of these guys have only 1 goal or less. Keeler is one of them, which is really a huge surprise to me. So, maybe we're actually able to beat this team if we contain Bochenski. Defensively, Eakin's got 6 points, Swanson has 5, Goulet 3, Foote 2, Messias has 2. Pominville, yeah, usually is playing in that lineup. He only has 1 assist in 9 games, so he's missed the last 2 games due to injury, but he's usually in. And from a goaltending perspective, Sawchuk has a .951. Okay, scoring goals is going to be even tougher this round than it was against Malkin. That's actually crazy. A 951 save percentage in the playoffs going into the conference finals. Let's take a look at Dorian Sawchuk's career at this point. Last year, or this regular season, he posted a 923. This was his rookie season. Oh man, he might actually be a Calder favorite. I didn't realize this was his rookie year. He is 24 years old at this point, but those numbers as a rookie starting goaltender is really nuts. After 3 AHL seasons. And in his playoffs, this is his first ever playoffs in the NHL, and he's got a 952. This guy literally could be a Calder winner as a goalie. But I don't know if the game will give it to him. But he's going to get paid a ton of money this offseason. Absolutely a ton. Man. So, yeah, scoring goals is usually tough for our team to do consistently. Well, if we blow up Sawchuk, that'd be amazing. But I honestly don't know if that will be the case or not. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that guy could win a Calder, but I'm honestly not sure if the game will give it to him because they usually don't give it to goalies that often. One last thing I want to take a look at is how we did against the Sharks during the season. Just because I honestly don't remember how we played against them. So let's go back to October and find these games here. So we probably only played them like 2 times, right? Or 3 times, something like that. Our first meeting, we beat them in overtime. So that's kind of surprising. They had obviously a really good season, yet we beat them in our first meeting. 5-4 OT win. I'll take that. Second meeting against the Shacks is Tugi likes to say 5-1 win. Or 5-1 loss. Why am I saying win? Goddamn. 5-1 loss in that second game. So nowhere good as the first game. Alright. Well, that's not good. Maybe they started to find themselves at that point. Anybody else or any other games? 5-4 OT loss in the third game. So we are 1-1-1 against them this season. Just like we were against St. Louis. That's interesting. Who was good for us against the Sharks this season, out of curiosity? I guess it would probably be the top 6 on our team. Probably shouldn't even look because it's just going to add too much time to this episode. But I would assume guys like McLeod probably played good against the Sharks. Just out of curiosity, let's see. Let's go split stats here. How did he do against the Sharks? I'd assume pretty good, right? 2 goals in 3 games, 13 shots on goal. Pretty good. How did Narena do? Because maybe, like I said, he gets back into the lineup to play against them. I'm not too sure. Like, we could go back to our original lines or we could keep it the same. You guys could let me know on that. But what did Narena do against the Sharks? 1 assist in 3 games, -3. Maybe it's good to keep him out of the lineup then. I'm not too sure. But he might lose morale, and I don't want to do that to a vet like him. How was Giunta against the Sharks? Probably not very good if we lost some of those games with a lot of goals against, and even one game with a lot of goals against. Let's see. San Jose. He played 2 of the games, had an 845. Yikes. Giunta, you got to find yourself against them. I know you've been good in the last 2 games, but bring what you did against the Blues to against the Sharks, please. And then I would assume Mathers got a game against him, which is kind of surprising. He probably played like trash, though, too, because all those games were a lot of goals against. Let's see. Yeah, he played 2 games. Actually, must have came in relief. Lost in overtime, but he had an 868 save percentage and a 4.27 goals against. So, yeah, a little bit of a tough time for both goalies against the Sharks. Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup. Obviously, the Sharks have the huge upper hand, but are we enough to be kind of identified as a cheese team, knock them out in the conference finals, and then get to a cup finals? Who knows? But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Albuquerque Aliens Draft to Glory, and Draft to Glory franchise mode. Jeez, I can barely talk. So in next episode, we will take it to the conference finals against the San Jose Sharks as we look to pull off a huge upset. They've been really good this year. And if any team can pull off an upset, maybe it's us. We've just came back from a 3-1 deficit. So just got to find a way to win 4 games, and we can maybe find ourselves in a Stanley Cup Finals. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.